Hello, good evening, and welcome to another evening with. It's Thursday night, so that means it's me and potentially other people. There's one other person in the background at the moment, but we'll see. More might turn up. You never know. It could happen. It might not happen, but whatever. I'll be here for a while. Probably an hour and a half is my fairly normal sort of expectation for times like here. If there's only me or a couple of us here, then it might be a little bit less. It all depends on you. You people in the chat are what makes this stream happen. It's the one stream of the week. I say one of the streams of the week where I don't do any work or modelling or anything. I just sit here and look pretty, and you lot all get in the chat and join in and give us things to talk about. Questions, possibly. We might know the answer. Someone else in chat might know the answer, and more likely than any of us on the actual camera side of things knowing the answers. But yes, so come along, join in, put your questions, comments, observations, anything you like in the chat, and we'll see what happens. As I say, joining me this evening we have, I assume it's going to work. It might not. There is an out of cheese error, so hello. Things might not work properly.
Hello.
Adam, how's things going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm a bit tired still because lockdown and everything is just,
Yeah. I'm
not doing anything throughout the day is exhausting.
I keep saying to myself, I'm going to go bed early tonight. And that's a blatant lie. But there's for me, there'll be a point of I won't do any hobbying model wise for maybe 2 or 3 days, and then all of a sudden there'll be 3 or 4 days where I'm doing 6 hours, and then it'll be dead again, and I just get these massive rushes where I'll just start and be doing stuff for a couple of hours. And they're like, all right, I should probably go and have something to eat, or I need to go to the toilet, and you just get kind of lost in it. And that's always a good thing, was when you kind of lose track of time. So, but yeah, that's all I've pretty much been doing, doing painting, building. Well, not building yet, but soon. These models are nearly done, and then I can then I can do my Death Dread, which is going to be exciting.
That's the plan, is it?
That is the plan. Essentially, it's going to be one kit, build and paint. Next kit, build and paint, and that's what I'm trying to stick to.
Yeah, that's the way I used to do things, and then I started doing the streaming of things, so things got sort of divided into.
Yeah,
I do the Warhammer stuff on a Sunday, but I don't do it during the week at all. So that's always ongoing, but that's always ongoing on a Sunday. That's okay. That sits there. Yeah. And then there was the midweek thing where I do something, but that was like the Wooden Wednesday initially. So I was just doing wooden kits on then. So I had a wooden kit going, and then I was doing Lego on a Monday and, nano kits on a Thursday or whatever. But that's gone down to just the one a week. Yeah. But it means different things. So there's a metal kit on the go. There's a wooden kit on the go. There's sometimes Lego on the go. But they're all for live streams, not for me just sitting down and doing. But
for me, I'm trying not to do what I did as a kid playing 40k, because I started at the end of Rogue Trader and at the end of Rogue Trader at the beginning of 2nd edition. So I would go out, spend all my money on models. And then when I got older, like in my 20s and stuff like that, I would go out, buy loads of models, build them all, and hardly paint any. So I'm trying to get to the point now where I have to complete a thing before I can build a thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Every time you say Rogue Trader, I keep thinking Trading Places. I don't know why.
I have no idea.
But it's terrible. We have a third joining us this evening. We have Dan. He wasn't about last week.
Hello.
But he's back now.
Hey, bud.
He has returned.
Yes.
So welcome, Dan. I'm just going to have a look through the chats, moving along quite quickly tonight. We have someone else in chat that I don't recall having seen before. Kevin Pritchard, welcome. Swigging Pig's also here, as is Shane. Twisted Round Hobby says, I thought you normally sit there and look pretty. The modelling part doesn't happen. Quite often, yes, and the looking pretty bit often doesn't happen either. But, actually, I noticed that, if I put the three of us in this order, then it sort of, it grows in order of hair, doesn't it? D says, good evening, Cheese Error. Yep. Sarah James says, I'm here. Where's here? Where is here? Nobody knows where here is, but yeah.
Wherever you go, there you are.
Often, yeah. Bobbins is about. Bobbins 9000. Good evening and welcome. Wendy saying hello to everybody, and everybody saying hello to Wendy. Gemma's here saying hi to everybody. That's the easy way of doing it.
Gemma.
Edward's here saying evening, Chris, Adam, and everybody. That must be your new name, Dan, I assume.
Yeah. I'm and the rest, kind of like on Gilligan's Island.
William's about. I don't know if I mentioned William or not, but he's saying hello to everybody as well. So that seems to be the introductions done for everybody. Yes, Dan, you weren't here last week. Have you got an excuse? Have you got a note or something? Or
I had a doctor's appointment.
That'll do, yeah. That's
so,
right.
Yeah. Just finalizing from when I hurt my shoulder last year. So
fair enough. We'll let you
officially off the books now.
In that order, it's evolution. Bald folk like me have evolved to not need hair. I'm not sure if that. Yeah, maybe. Not sure if that's true. Yes. So during the week, I've been doing very little. I've done virtually nothing. I've been setting up I've moved my 3D printer today, so it's not sitting over there making noises. I moved it to a different room. Although it's not running at the moment. In theory, I can run it while I'm recording or streaming now, so that should work. I'm trying to get it dialed back in again, because every time you move something like that, it all just twists and adjusts a little bit. So I've been trying to get it working out. I printed out a few more Death Star tiles, which I still need another like 50 of them or something stupid. So I've got a few more days to go doing that. But I've decided that isn't going to be the next diorama that I do. Another one has crept into my brain and slipped in front. So although I have received my other X-Wing kit, this one, that's the old one that I knocked together years ago that got broken, is going to be used in my next diorama. And that one is going to be a fun one. It's only going to be little, but it's going to have some height.
Okay.
So with a damaged traditional X-wing, some height, and the other thing that I've been playing around with today is adding paint to Mod Podge. So this is dry but not dry, because it will go, I'm hoping, sort of transparent blue.
Yeah.
The paint I put in that was a few drops of Model Air blue, it's called. Cunningly, I just call it blue, because it's not got any fancy name. So it's obviously a darker blue than that, because the Mod Podge at the moment is still white. So the white disappears and goes clear, but I'm hoping the blue will still come through and be a much richer, darker blue.
Yeah.
And then I put another layer on top of that that's a lighter blue, and work up to a top bit. But I need it to be obviously thick enough to cover an entire X-wing.
Ah.
Oh, interesting.
So, which film am I doing is the question.
I am going to say it's either going to be The Last Jedi or Empire again.
I'm not going to do Empire again. I've decided I don't have enough ideas. Empire can do 4 or 5 different dioramas because it's got so many great moments that there are kits available for.
In that case, Last Jedi.
Last Jedi is correct. Although it took me bloody ages last night to find the bit of the film. I couldn't remember if it was in Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker.
Both.
Well, I think in Rise of Skywalker you only actually see it out of the water.
Well, at least after it's been pulled up. Okay.
Underneath, it sort of lifts it up.
Yeah.
But there's like a 3-second clip of it under the water. But I've got a couple of ideas to add a little bit of, other than just being, a little bit of water with the next ring in it. I've got a couple of ideas to twist in to make it a little bit more, not, as all of my dioramas aren't, they're not screen accurate. They're not exactly the same. It's sort of inspired by, and hopefully will tell people what film it is just by looking at it, if you know the films a bit. So that's my plan for that. And so that testing is going to take a few days, weeks, because you've got to wait for it to dry before you can do any more.
Mod Podge is not a fast thing and layers.
Play around with it. But the theory being that although this has a broken gun on it, if I put it in at the right angle, with that sort of down underneath, with sufficiently dark Mod Podge underneath, you're not going to be able to see that it's got a gun missing because it's going to be poking down underground.
It would just look like possibly sediment covering it or something. Yeah.
And plus, you can always block it with like seaweed, or like there's always some sort of aquatic wildlife you can have roaming around that area. So there's going to be plenty of ways to hide it. You're not going to struggle with that.
Are you going to?
The problem with doing any wildlife or anything is the scale, because it's only going to be 1/44. So fish would be a grain of rice type thing. But we'll see how it
grain
works.
of rice sorted. Just make sure it's sharks. Sharks. Oh, it'll be a little bit bigger. Laughing. Sorry, not an issue.
I don't recall seeing sharks. I'm thinking about how to make some porgs. But again, they're going to be very
they'd be very, very
tiny. But I'm going to have on the cliffs and stuff. But
there'll be 3D print files somewhere for a porg. There's got to be. Someone's got to have.
Someone's going to know that they're porgs. It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Let's see if anything else has happened. LD needs a good Darth Sidious bust. I don't know of one, but if you have access to 3D printing, there's lots of stuff available to print.
I don't even have a 3D printer, and I've got a collection of 3D print files. I've got orc stuff, which I found online, which Fess has given me. I've got I've got a bunch of D&D stuff which we got through Kickstarters and just found for free. I just get bummed, like, what can I find today? Oh, there's that. Oh, that's really cool. I'll put that in the file. It's like, oh, why?
I've got very, very cool stuff.
I've got about 50 plus, and I don't even have a 3D printer.
No, but they don't go out of date. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Did I post in the group the file that I found the other day, the Walker?
I don't believe so.
Yes.
Or
I think you did.
which group are you referring to? The
the secret growth group. No, the one that you couldn't get access to. I'll find it and put it.
I'm pretty sure you did.
There's a guy that does foldable 3D models that he does very well. I'm going to change the cameras to the slightly bigger.
Oh,
bigger screen. Then we get a bit more real estate to deal with. Yes, he prints these things. He does cars and tanks and things that are printed in place. So it's just one print that takes however many hours or days or whatever, but he's designed them in such a way that you pop them off the build plate, and then you can fold down the sides and the front and the bonnet and the under, and it all sort of clips in place and folds down, and then looks like a real thing from one print that you don't have to do anything with other than, you know, sort of fold it down. And and he's done a
robot kits like that.
How
I
does
don't know
that
how.
work?
I don't know how. He's done an 8080. Actually, I'll try and find it. I'll put it in the chat.
What wizardry is this? What black magic?
It really is. It's scary, and I don't know how he's
a heavy flamer.
But he really has. I'll find it. There it is. Let me copy that. Copy link, and I'll see if I can put that link in the chat, because then people can just click on it and follow it along. You have to sign up to his page, but it's obviously free. He's got stuff that he sells for like $3 or $4 for the file, and some of it looks really good. But that in the chat there now, if you want to click on that, you can go along and have a look. It's an 8080, an AT-AT Walker. And it's foldable. It's printed in several pieces, this one. There's like the head that prints and the body part, but it all goes together and it looks amazing. It looks about 1/4 scale, very similar size to the Bandai one.
Oh, wow.
But is very, very impressive. Save that somewhere and go and have a look later or something. But yeah, that's very impressive stuff. And it just amazes me how people can design these things. I can't even design, you know, a basic thing, let alone something that prints in place and you can fold it up and is amazing.
I've got one thing I made that was a print in place movable part. I made this little box here that you rotate the base.
Yeah, the iris box thing
mechanism. Yep. This is the only piece I've really done that has that kind of functionality. I tried doing a couple of other like small robot models and stuff with movable joints, but I just don't think I had the printer dialed in very well. And
that is the thing. I printed a wrench, a wrench that had a screw, like adjustable wrench thing.
Yeah.
And that printing, it works fine. It's a bit sloppy. It's not high precision tools, obviously, and it's made out of plastic, so you can't use it for big stuff. But it's good for occasional things.
I mean, I've seen. I was on Shapeways the other day, and I saw, you know, the little cube where you just fold it in, and you can keep folding it in and folding it in. It's, you know, it just continue. And someone had done a 3D print file of one of them, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. It'll be multiple print files, but from what you guys are saying, then it'll just be the one." How? I mean, that's. I'm sorry, but it's some Bandai shenanigans, like when Bandai print, like. Mold the fingers
on one sprue. Yeah,
not even that. The fingers, like the fingers, where you've got the ball joints. Like, what magic is this?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the way the 3D printing works, as I understand it, you can get away with little gaps. So when you're printing something, the printer that I use, not the resin ones are a bit different. They're sort of upside down, but the ones that I use, the layer thing, it prints a layer, then the print head moves up a bit, and then it prints the next layer, then it moves up a bit, and it prints everything on that next layer. The problem you have is if you've got something that a hollow dome. If you're printing a helmet, for instance, you can print something here and something here and something here and something here without any problem at all. If you printed that line and then needed to print one over here, but without having anything underneath it, you can't, because it won't stick to anything.
Yeah.
You can't hang it in midair, but you can get away with a certain amount of curve.
Yep.
And the trick is how much your printer can allow you to curve. So you can print probably a dome if you get it just right, because by the time you get to that bit, it's a very small area. You can print a bridge across a short distance.
Right.
Yeah.
Depending on your printer is how short the distance is. Some can do some pretty impressive gaps. Mine can't, because it's old and I'm rubbish. I can't set it up properly. But so if you can do that, then you can print a layer of something and then miss a little bit and then have a layer of something else above. So the way they do it is to print a ball joint, for instance. You can get away with printing, you know, this bit, and then missing a bit and having a bit there, as long as it's attached to something that was attached over here. So I can understand how it works, but not how someone designs it. Because I mean, the trouble with 3D printing is, even if you get the file of how to print it, you've got to. It's called slicing. Cut it up to work on your particular printer.
Yeah.
But even then, you might have to rotate it, and the trick is trying to figure out how to get it in whichever direction. And these. There we go. These Death Star tiles, there's another one, new one that I've just printed with a big post.
Oh, cool.
When they come in the file, a lot of them come like that.
Right.
So for some reason, it's like, well, that's never going to print because you've got no... Let me make myself bigger again. You've got no way that you can print... If I do it that way, it's more obvious. You can print all of this, and you'll get away with printing these little bits that overhang a little bit, but there's no way you can't just print the end of this. Because there's nothing for it to expand on.
Yeah.
You can print supports that you can break off, but it makes it all a bit of a problem. So, for instance, that way, I printed this that way up. So it did this bit that's wider than the bit below it without any trouble because it's got a certain amount of shaping to it and it works okay.
Yeah.
But to do that on finer things and, different things, you have to work out which is the best orientation to print it. And that affects the speed of the print as well with these, and it's more complicated than it. I'm not that it should be. You've got to do it like that. There's no other way of doing it like that. The only other way of doing it would be to have the computer decide for you. This is the most economical way of doing it. This way, you might have problems with that, so we'll twist it this way and do that. So when we get to the Star Trek way of, make me this, and it just all decides for you and prints it very quickly. Yeah, that's the ideal time, but we're quite a way away from that yet.
Yeah. I am tempted to get one, but at the moment I can't really see the big thing for me because, to be fair, my main computer, which I'm on now, is very old. So maybe when I get a new one, I'll be able to have a bit of software. But you can get ones where you can just plug it and play, can't you? But you still need to tinker around with the files a bit.
I don't have the printer connected to the computer. I'd save everything to a card, and then that card plugs into the printer.
That's what I've seen.
And it's done. So the speed of the computer doesn't really matter too much. It might take it longer for it to arrange it and save the file onto the card, but you only have to do that once anyway, and then you can do what you like with it.
Yeah, it's more for just the software you use to kind of rotate it or add stuff. Because I don't think my computer will be able to handle it. To be fair,
slicers
but then again,
are pretty small.
Yeah, but you don't know. I mean, I'm running High Sierra at the moment, and I'm like 3 or 4 things behind because it's an old thing. I don't want to update it anymore in case things stop working. That's the issue. I mean, if it's 1, fine. But if it's 3 or 4, then there's a possibility things are just going to stop working.
Yeah. I see. You said, do you need a powerful PC to run a 3D printer? No, is the easy answer. It needs to be able to cope with stuff, but not much. I use Cura as a slicer program, and I don't know what the minimum specs are, but it doesn't struggle. If it takes it longer to work it out, then it takes it longer to work it out. It's not like playing games where you have to have certain frames per second or everything. It doesn't matter if it takes it an hour to slice something and print it. It's going to take it multiple hours to print anyway. So if it does it quicker, great. If it doesn't, it's not a problem.
Yeah, it's not like virtual reality where the computer is generating the info on the fly to send it. It's literally just writing to a text file, which is what you put on the SD card to put into the printer.
Yeah.
Or you can send that info wirelessly depending on your printer. But it is closer to a paper printer than it is other types of things. You're just sending the data to the machine, and then it works out how to do the physical part of it.
Yeah. Got resin but no printer. Make it out of green stuff. That's one option.
There you go.
The same way the printer does it, in that lay it down on lines, or you could just do some sculpting. But my pal's done a 1-to-1 xenomorph head. That would be impressive. They obviously have to be done in sections.
You do
unless you've got a huge industrial printer thing. But
that'd be cool.
I don't even think there's a 3D printer big enough to do a xenomorph head in one go.
Oh yes, there is.
There is.
Really?
They make 3D printers that print houses.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
They printed concrete.
I generally thought you were going to say that they do the 3D printers that print 3D printers. I was like, no way.
No, you can. The first thing most people print when they get a 3D printer is upgrades for their 3D printer.
Yes.
Really? No way.
It really is. It's scary. There you go. Dan's going to show us now.
This is a piece I 3D printed for one of my printers that it's designed to hold a fan in place, as well as, let's see, find my orientation. There it is. It holds a sensor on this side. It holds like a fan on this side of the plate here. It's, I haven't assembled it yet, obviously, but it's basically just an accessory piece. I've got knobs, I've got fan ducting, I've got all sorts of little things that just improve the performance.
Yeah, I printed a few brackets, a fan duct for the hot end nozzle, a big thing that holds the spool of filament above it rather than having it sit on the side. That's how it rotates and everything. But it's amazing.
I was looking at 3D printers. I was like, I'm not going to get one because I'm only going to use it to really print out bits of 40K and maybe the odd D&D thing, or like like when I get some 3SEL files from miniatures. Maybe them. It's not going to be used a lot. But then I started to think about the other prospects of it, as in music. And I've got a pedal board, and it's heavy as hell, especially with all the pedals in it. And it's, they cost a lot. When you want to go big, and it costs a lot of money. Like if you look at the Holy boards, which are fantastic, and you can put ratchets, ties in them, and all this type of stuff. I thought, what if I could 3D print parts of a pedal board and just connect them together with so you print out a chunk with holes in, and you can just connect them up by other bits of plastic and screws. I was like, that's so cool, because then you can just modulate your own one. I was like,
You always want to consider structural.
Yes.
If what you're... See, I'm not familiar with the equipment you're talking about, but a pedal board sounds like something that you're hitting with your foot a lot.
Yeah.
And so depending on how it's designed and how it's printed, that could break down because of the layering, the way the printers work. But I'm sure it can be done. It would just take some finesse to make it structural.
There's a very good chance that somebody has already done it.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a look. There's a couple of sites that I look at. Someone mentioned My Mini Factory earlier. That's good for the D&D type stuff.
Yeah, I've got some stuff for Mini Factory.
Thingiverse has everything.
I was thinking, because it's the pedal board I've got now is so heavy that if I reduce, because obviously I've got like £600 worth of gear in it in this little box. If I could reduce that weight somehow, some way, that'd be all the more useful. Because I've seen people print like 3D arms. And they've actually printed. Someone's printed himself a 3D leg, and that's genius. That's really cool and really intelligent, and it looks awesome.
The problem with 3D printing is, let's say I'm talking about I can't remember the name for it now. The one that prints in lines is the one I use, not the resin one that uses light and stuff. The one that prints in lines has different structural benefits in different directions because of the way it prints. So if you want to build something like a leg, if you print it in one orientation, it will work fine for compressive forces and everything. But if you say exactly the same file and rotate it 90 degrees, it will be rubbish. It will fall apart as soon as you put any weight on it because of the way the plastic melts and sticks together. It builds it up as like fibers.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the way. Yeah. I was thinking like wood grain. Yeah.
So it's difficult. So it's thinking about how to do it, as in how it will print it more easily without any supports and things like that, but also the use it's going to be put to, and how to make it. Sometimes you have to make them almost solid. Sometimes you can get away with making them hollow. Yeah. Hollow obviously is going to be lighter, uses less material, prints a lot quicker. But if it needs to put up with the forces of, let's say, pedals and stuff flexing against it, you might need to print it heavier, in which case you might not be saving a great deal of weight to what you've got at the moment.
Yeah. But still, I just think about that. That'd be so cool. Even if I got a new pedal board, like an aluminium one, which is going to be heavier than lighter than what I've got now, but just print even just printing a bracket to attach a pedal
Exactly.
onto the thing.
Yeah.
Look, even just something like that would save
Yeah.
a lot of hassle, because otherwise
the
it's got
non-structural parts.
Yeah,
And
but at the moment, like on mine is purely Velcro. But on some of them, you have to have like screw stuff in and things like that. It's like, why can't I just like have it as a bracket instead of having to faff around and take bits apart? And I just want to put the thing on.
Have a look at thingiverse.com.
Yes,
and put in type in foot pedal, whatever.
Yeah,
you'll probably find someone's done something similar, possibly for exactly the same model. They've already designed it, and it's there for you to download and print. Paul Tommaso does say use a carbon fiber filament to print super durable stuff. You can get different types of filament for these printers as well. I use PLA, which is the cheapest, easiest stuff, but it's a problem because you can't do so much with it after the fact. You can't really sand it. Some of the other things that you can print with, you can use vapors and things to smooth it off and make it look really nice. My print, you can't get very fine detail on it. You can't get very smooth detail on it. But you can get quite big things. Whereas Paul uses a resin printer, so he can print some really tiny, small detail like the D&D miniatures, and they look really good. They look stunning. There's smooth lines on, very noticeable at all. But it's for different things. Ideally, you want to have a selection of 3D printers to do different things with. If you want to print a mini, then you need one of them. If you want to print, I've printed a catch for the door downstairs, so it's basically just got one side's like a hook and one side's a bowl, and it just sort of clips in, and that holds the door open, because otherwise the door's shut on its own. I could have gone to a shop and bought something vaguely similar, but I found a file and printed it, and it was done in an hour. It's just so easy. I didn't design it, but in theory you could tweak it and design it and make it your own. But made the IKEA shelf pedal board. I don't know what that is.
I've seen a few of them, but it's just because mine's quite old, and it's, if I want to, because I've got one pedal I need to put on it and take some off, and it's just a case of having to rejig it into my preferred order and keep the pedal chain in the right order. It just means having to buy longer cables. When it's just a process I was thinking about the other day. Like, I've seen people do it for different things. So I've never really thought about the use of it for music. And I was like, it could be interesting.
Yeah.
Paul Smith just check Thingiverse, and there's nothing for a pedal board so far. So you can design your own, put it on Thingiverse. Other people might want it.
I am not that smart.
I found one. So
Twisted Rail says, who's playing music? I don't know. I did hear a couple of little bits in the background. I couldn't tell who it was, though.
No, it might be my PS4. It's on in the background.
So that's that. I shall go across to the gallery in a bit, and we'll have a look through pictures that have been put up in the preceding week. But other than that, that's sort of my week in history. I finished the week before last the VR game I was playing. The game I was playing, I can't remember what it was now. So long ago, it seemed like I finished it. That was Red Matter, wasn't it? That was the one that really messed with my brain at the end.
Yeah, it was kind of the semi-horror one, wasn't it?
I was busy this Tuesday, so I didn't stream, and because I didn't stream, he forgot to stream as well.
Yes, I did. Thank you for that. Yeah. Well, to be fair, I started painting about 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I just kind of got into it and just started cracking on with the orcs. I literally sat down and said, I'm just going to do the first highlight on the skin tone. I'm just going to do that. That's all I'm going to do. No. Did that. Did the eyes. Did the clothes. Did all the metal bits. Planned out where I was going to do the checker marks, which there are many. And and I was like, oh wow, I've been at it for like 7 hours. Like, holy hell. So that was good fun. And then next day I said, I'm just going to do this bit, and I did the same thing and did like another 6 hours worth of paint. Just lost track of time.
Paul Desvasso says he spelt pedal wrong. There's a few different designs. Is that what you've just put in the chat here, Dan?
Yep.
Right, I'll copy them across if I can. How can I copy them across?
I can't vouch for their actual practical usefulness, but
I don't know how to copy them across, but we'll get them somewhere. Dan, Adam can obviously find them in the private chat on the stream here. But yeah, there are things in there, so have a look and see. Fronto Modeling's here, Philip. Evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome.
Hey up, dude. Oh, he had a proper wibble on Tuesday.
Did he? I didn't.
It was funny.
What was he wibbling about?
Well, because it's the quiz.
Yeah.
So first of the month, it's kind of open. People come on. So I came on, considering the shenanigans from the week before, and I was like, clip. Oh, that's that movie. And he just got a bit wibbly, and we had to use a button which I shall blur out so I don't mess with your monetization, which you can't see. But it's.
I'm aware of your button.
You can guess.
Yeah.
So that was quite fun and entertaining, especially for me.
Yeah, it has its moments. Wibble, he says. Yeah, wibble. Wibbly. I don't know. Wibbly. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, that's that. This week I shall be streaming on Tuesday. I'm not sure what yet. Katie, my daughter, did start playing Moss, which is a very cute little VR game, which I've already played. So she's playing it for the first time. But we'll do that at some point. But I did also start the other game that I was going to start when I started the Red Matter, Into the Radius.
Oh.
She's scary and strange, and I think will be a good thing to stream. So I might do that on Tuesday. Okay. I played the tutorial, and it confused the hell out of me. So it's probably going to be even more.
So it should be very amusing for the rest of us anyway.
Absolutely. That's pretty much what it's all about.
I think the best games when you get lost and you get confused with something. And I think that's more entertaining because you're like, where am I? What am I doing? Mm-hmm. Whereas like when you guys go live, everyone has a thing, don't they? Like Fox gets a runny nose, or stuff like this. I just tend to forget. It's like, what am I doing? Why did I walk into this room? Or I'll get halfway to somewhere, I'll be like, wait, where am I going now? And I'll just be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I here? And then Andy will be in the chat like, you idiot.
I like to start a game off live, so I know it works, and the controls are okay for me and everything else. But there's a level of competence that I feel I should reach before I live stream, because I don't know. I mean, any game, not just VR game, but watching me constantly run into a door might be amusing for a little while, but will very, very soon get very boring and repetitive. You need a level of progression, but not to be an expert. I mean, the Hitman is a prime example. When I play Hitman at midnight on Saturday, last week I'd already played that level. Because it was the first level in Hitman 2 or the first decent level. I played it to death, so I knew what I was doing. I nipped through the first bit in like 10 minutes, whereas normally I'd take an hour and a half to kill my targets.
Yeah.
By learning and trying to figure it out. I don't know. The general consensus is that it was less fun when I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I feel like it should be a different type of fun, because knowing what I'm doing means that I'm more likely to progress things and things will actually happen and continue on.
Yeah.
But not knowing what I'm doing is funnier. Unless it gets to the point where I just keep failing at the same point over and over and over again, that's less fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but then we can collectively figure out the solution.
Well, yeah, that's true. And I
enjoy that
occasionally to find out what happens and what you got to do. So, yeah, but with especially with VR games where it is more tactile, the Into the Radius game, I haven't read. I did the tutorial mission, which sort of gives you some story, but I didn't pay any attention to it. But it's a shooting game basically. So you're walking through the world with guns and ammo and things, and you've got knives that you can stab monstery things with, or apparently throw, although I didn't figure out how to do that. But the guns are sort of realistic. They might be really realistic, but I don't know guns well enough to do it. Like I did that the horseshoe handguns and hand grenades thing. The guns in that are apparently ideal, spot on. Historical guns, modern guns, everything exactly how it should be. You pick it up, you've got to, turn the safety off and cock it and do all this sort of stuff. You've got to do that on the Radius one as well, but it doesn't sort of hold your hand at all.
Okay.
It basically, first time you pick a gun up, it says push this button and that will take the safety off. But there's one pistol I picked up that had multiple directions to the safety. It was like a single shot or multiple rounds or sort of machine gun thing, but it didn't tell me anything about that. So I just clicked it and pulled it, and it went crazy. It's like, what the? But you've also got to find the bit that you've got a cock on it. Where most pistols, obviously, is the bit on the top that you just sort of pull
slides
back.
on top. Yeah.
Some of the rifles, bolts that you've got to do things with, or bits on undersides and everything that you've got to find. Finding that in a live stream can't be that much. But not knowing how to use it properly, I seem to be quite good at the actual shooting.
Yeah.
I can pick up a gun from the table and shoot a few targets in the right sort of ballpark. Eventually, I might miss the first one, but then I'll get it lined up without using the actual sights and taking me time. And that seems like fun.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was completely inept at it and just missing all the time, not even going to be able to shoot the first bad guy, wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
So I'm finding my way to getting the balance between ineptitude.
Yeah.
So I think Tuesday I shall start on that. Where are we? Today's Thursday, isn't it? So Friday and Saturday I've got nothing apart from Saturday midnight. Sunday I've got the week off this week, so there's nothing happening with me on Sunday. Monday's e-models. Tuesday, say lunchtime. Join me on Team Inept. Like and subscribe, and we shall journey into the Radius. I'll have to do a little trailer thing for it, but yeah, that would be quite good fun. And if I do that, then Adam will remember to stream later as well. So
yeah. Well, to be fair, I mean, like, it's no bad thing getting caught up in your hobby. I mean, it's I knew it was Tuesday. I sort of woke up like, oh, it's Tuesday. I know this. I'll stream later on. I know this. I'll do a spot to painting. Oh, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah. What happened to Tuesday?
Yeah, like what did I miss? And then I've just realized how much of the models I've actually got to do. It's like, oh, that's really cool. Because I think like because sometimes like painting the same model like 5 times, well, for me 11 times, can be a bit like, ugh. But once you get past the initial base coat and wash stage, and that's when things start to come together. Is when you start putting the highlights on, everything starts coming together, and then you're more into it because like it's not that you're reaching the end of it, but you're seeing everything come alive more, I think, and the excitement of seeing it come more alive and be the real, be the final thing, gets you excited, which makes you want to just keep on going. I think I explained that quite badly, but in my head it makes sense.
I get what you're saying. There's different stages to it. I mean, with the Warhammer Sundays that I do, obviously I do an entire kit from box to finished. Yeah, and I start with nothing. Start with the box, and the first few weeks are basically gluing the kit together, and then it'll be a few more weeks of painting, and then a week or two of weathering and tidying it up and sorting it out. Yeah, I enjoy all of the stages of it, but each one can go on too long, and then you start to get a bit. I want the next bit to start, sort of thing. So,
I mean, I'm at the point now where I think it was when I did the first highlight, I got really excited because I was like, okay, well, this is nearly done now. I haven't got much more to do on them really, other than to check. And I thought, oh, I've got to do the checkers, and that wasn't too bad because I used kind of cheat. I used Potter Fox's method, what he's showing, and kind of my own idea I had as well, and that kind of worked out quite well. Which is using a paint it like as Ulthuan Grey in very thin layers, then use a fine pencil to like kind of like sketch it out,
right?
And then kind of go over it with I got a 0.1 fine liner, use that, and then you can just start to fill in the stuff. And it's like, yeah, that works quite well, as we'll see in the gallery in a bit. I just hope someone's like, someone just like, oh, that looks rubbish. I'm like, yeah, it does. But it's orc, so I can get away with it. I'm justified because it's an orc thing, so I win. I win regardless.
Talking about the gallery, let's go and have a look at the gallery. the first one up is another puzzle from my wife. I can't make out what it is. There's sort of bottles down here, but it just seems to. It's another one of these tiny ones that you can't really see.
The lines of the pieces
and I don't know.
A cat. Is that a cat?
Some sort of lollipop or something, and some coloured stars or something. And it says something up the top there, but I can't quite read it.
Ask her to take a picture of the box top as well as the.
I think this one didn't have a box. She did these three, and this one didn't have a picture on the.
Oh,
on the outside of it. So it was a case of building it and not knowing what it is you're building as well, which makes it all the more fun.
I like the little tubes.
Got the nice stag and the traditional sunflowers, but yeah, I don't know. Doesn't matter what it is. It's a jigsaw. It's fun to do, and then you take it back, do it again at another point in time later on, don't you? So, yeah. That's the close up of the sort of tree stag. I don't know if
it's like a mythological stag sort of idea.
The problem with these tiny puzzles is they put tiny pieces, so there's lots of joins.
Yeah. The lines between the pieces really stand out close up.
Yeah. So it does detract from the finished look of it, but you gain it in the ability to do it in a tiny environment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's that, and the sunflowers, which obviously you can tell because it's bright colours. Frank, frustration guzzle. I don't know. Saturday morning at 1:15 a.m. I don't know what it is.
Looks like cream puff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a cream puff.
It looks like choux pastry with just lots of cream and icing sugar. Or powder and sugar for my colonial cousins.
It could do with some colour. It could do with some jam or something.
Oh, yes.
But, yeah. It works. It's fine. I'm not sure about the 1:15 a.m. bit, but, yeah. Jerry's in the chat. She says it's like a science experiment setup.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now I really wish I could see it better.
I think it's just the colours on it that was strong.
But yeah. So that's that. This is mine. This is what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks of Warhammer.
Orcs.
Orcs. They are flash kits, apparently. There is one more to do and some tidying up to do on them. And then comes the painting. So this Sunday is Ted's turn. The week after will be my turn. So I'm intending that to be building one guy and tidying them all up. Might be a shorter stream than normal, but a few seam lines here and there. I drilled out all of these bits around the outside of this barrel and the inside of the barrel as well. That was great fun. I didn't do that one because there's too many of them. They're tiny. But yeah, I quite enjoy the drilling out of things. You can't get to behind the guns, but the guns are attached to the arm, and the other arm needs to attach to the gun as well. So although in theory you could paint and then add the arms onto it, I don't know that it would look quite right. So I've had to glue them all together before I could paint it. So it will be challenging.
And that's one of my next things I've got to face is when I do my orcs. So I've got some more shooter and slugger boys to do. Because obviously I'm playing Goss, so I want plenty of melee combat. But when I do shooters, it's one arm holds the gun and then the other arm grips the gun. So I'm in two minds. Do I just glue them together, or do I kind of position it so I've got one arm holding the gun, glue the gun to the hand, and then just leave it separate?
Yeah, but you need to make sure that the arm bit's attached to the right places as well, because you could get that slightly off. And I had to do it all at once. I'm using extra thin. You've got a bit of wiggle room anyway, so you're okay with that. So I basically put some glue on the shoulders and the bit on the gun and held it in place for a couple of minutes until it was dry, and then it was all right. But yeah, I don't think there's any ideal solution to it.
No, because when I was playing in second edition, you had the arms all separate. So you had the arm holding the barrel, the arm for holding it, and then you just put the gun on. Yeah. And so that was dead easy.
Get away with that.
Yeah, so you just put one arm on, where am I going to hold it, right? Attach the gun with a bit of blue tack or whatever, put the other one underneath.
Yeah.
Take the gun out, sorted. And that was dead easy.
Yeah,
but
you can't do that with this one.
Yeah, no.
I think the first week I did a guy and 3/4 of a guy. So when I was with Ted, I managed to do the other quarter and the 2 other guys. So one guy I'm tidying up and getting rid of a couple of seam lines on shoulders and things where I can see them after having finished them. And then I can get them primed off air and get ready to start painting them the time after. So that's the plan. Philip is in the chat, so he can talk us through these bits. This is his Star Trek shuttle from the motion picture.
The travel pod,
Travel pod, that was it, yeah. Which is all lit and everything looks lovely. He's been putting the lines on it. So obviously a lot of masking and a lot of painting. And then we see the lines.
That's lovely.
It's another thing that I wouldn't have noticed that it didn't have them until you see them on it and think, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The extra panels he added really do make the big difference.
Yeah, again, I didn't notice they were missing, but now they're there, they work.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I'm not sure how close the finishing is on that. Again, it's another one. I don't know if it's finished, if it's close to finish, or if he's got other stuff that he needs to do on it, because it looks all right to me now, but there's probably bits that are like, oh, yeah, I still need to add the whole other colour that I haven't put on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Athel's about. He says it would be a stag in the throes of the rut. His horns covered in bush and ground cover. That was Gemma's puzzle piece, obviously. Quite possibly. Edward has been doing it a motorbike by the looks of it.
That looks tricky to ride.
It's just the same one Fess is doing, is it?
It could be, yeah. I don't know. For some reason, it's not come up with any words there, but it's nice. It's I assume one of the Tamiya.
Yeah.
Or it might be a part work one. I don't know. But it looks lovely. It's very complicated.
Yeah. Something is telling me that it's a part work one. I think it's like 1/4 scale or something crazy.
There we go. There's
the other half.
There's the business end.
Yeah.
It still looks uncomfortable though. It could use a seat.
Yeah. We have to stand.
It would be warm.
Right up standing. It's okay. Philip says it's 90% there. A few touch-ups, bit of weathering before attaching it to its stand and connecting power.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know if there's more pictures that are showing the more. The detail is just astounding.
Yeah,
I thought there was a lot in the big Italian twin that I did, but
the carbon fiber looks really good at that scale.
Yeah, it just works.
Is lovely.
Edward says it's 1/4 scale. The Valentino Rossi. Yeah, that's the one Colin's doing. Yeah. 1/4. It's huge.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, that does look lovely. I'm not a bike guy, but that just looks impressive.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to be to appreciate the detail.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, that is nice.
Wow.
You're almost expected to be working.
Yeah. A lot of these detail picks, if you didn't have like the cutting board underneath it and stuff, if you put that on a plain background, a lot of people would be fooled into thinking that was a full scale.
Absolutely.
Machine.
And then annoyingly, most of it's covered up and you can't see it.
It's even got the welding detail on it as well. He's even got bits where it's been welded together. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really is crazy. You're going to have to get some creative photography with that. Put it close in the foreground and have it against something in the background that makes it look real.
Is that a cup holder on the gas tank in the back? Right there?
But
it looks like a cup holder on it. That seems inconvenient. You're going to hit a bump, your drink's going to come out, spill all over you.
Yeah, but you're going fast enough that it won't stain. It'll be all right.
Yeah, true. It sort of vaporizes.
Frankie's back with Lego again, or Lego type.
Choo-choo. Wow.
Getting the camera in there gives a sense of scale like crazy. This was me last night. This is the wooden kit that I started doing. It's a 3D mechanical drive model of a wooden globe. It's got this interior piece turns in the opposite direction to the exterior piece when you turn this bit at the back.
Okay.
There's more to go on to it. I'm actually exactly halfway through the instructions. I did build it on a live stream, except for this outside piece here and the one on the other side, because I had to take it partially apart because I completely forgot to put this ring on. The instructions were tiny and not particularly good. They don't use any words. And I just overlooked that particular bit. So I've put that in, put the two side pieces on, and that's halfway through the instructions. So the rest of it involves putting an extra bit to turn it more easily at the back there. And it's got, as you can see on the box art there, it's actually got bits that slip into it, giving you all the land masses.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is going to look really cool.
Yeah. So it's a wooden moving puzzle rendition of the movie The Core.
Yes, possibly.
Okay.
That sort of thing, but no. This is, again, my daughter done a jigsaw puzzle. This was a bigger jigsaw puzzle, 1,000 pieces. And she, I won't say had trouble with it, but the problem with this is it's all the same books repeated over and over again.
Yeah.
Different ones to the front, but even then you get them repeated along the same shelf.
Oh, dear Lord.
So it's all over the place. So this, side of the book is also down here and down there somewhere, down there as well. So you get a bit and you don't know where it goes because it could go in 5 different places. But she did it eventually and was happy with that.
So puzzle builder designers are really sadistic.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some really, really horrible ones. My wife's always liked doing jigsaw puzzles, and obviously my daughter's enjoying them as well. But recently she did try and do a couple that she had trouble with. She had one recently that came without any corners. So it got sent back because it needed corners.
I was going to say, like, on purpose? I was like, is that the point of the puzzle, that it's got no corner pieces?
It should have corner pieces, but it just didn't have any. They were missing, as well as a few other pieces. And it was meant to be like, so many pieces, and it was like a dozen short of that.
Yeah, that's a QC issue.
Yeah. And then she got another one that had 5 corners in it for the sake of variety, I assume.
Well, I'd rather have too many corners than not enough. To be fair,
as long as you have the right number of interior pieces as well.
Maybe they're taking points from Lego, like they're giving you more pieces than you need.
Yeah.
So there's always a few left over. And then one day you can just make a puzzle out of all the leftover pieces.
But it would look horrible. But yeah. So here we have time for me to stop talking.
Orcs.
And Adam do some. There we go.
Yeah, this is all that needs to be doing on these guys now is the final black highlight, because I've gone with the dirty black. So I'm using Skaven Black Dinge and the other one that's similar to that, which is another kind of dirty grey colour. And then all I need to do is that, and then just to finish off the bases, and they're done. And all of the checkers, and as you can see, there's bits of weathering as well. I used a little sponge method to dot some weathering on, because I couldn't just have everything, because I gave it the diluted wash of Agrax Surshade to tie it all together. I think on his red power claw, though, I'm going to add some Typhus Corrosion, like on the claw and in the seams and stuff like that, just to kind of make it look really dirty. But I was so worried about doing the cloth checkers.
That looks lovely to me.
It's not quite there, but I don't mind if it's got a little lines up like that. I don't really mind, because the orcs and you don't have to get perfectly. Everything doesn't need to be perfectly square each way around. So you can, if there's the way I figure it is, like, if they've dyed it and maybe there's a bit of bleed, or when they've or something like that. Yeah. So. But all I need to do is all I need to do now is to do the base essentially, and a bit of the final black highlight. But I did some of the oxidized paint on the brass as well, which you can see it on his power claw and on his banner. But I'm really happy with them. Next time though, I will leave the arms off when I'm base coating them. I will leave the arms off, because it's hard to get like down the sides, and it was annoying me that I couldn't get down there. So I think next time I will leave the arms off.
Thinking of that is, if it's hard to get down it, then it's also hard to see it.
Yeah, but it was annoying me that I couldn't paint down there. It was just generally frustrating me. But I also made a mistake of when I was doing like the trousers and the leathers. I did all the leather straps. When what I should have done was just paint everything black and then done those like the leather straps afterwards
around them. Yeah.
Yeah, and instead of I did all the leather straps. I was like, well, I need to paint around these now, which took longer. And that's my own, idiot fault.
Yeah, the trouble is you can paint black over anything, but going over black is often a pain. So
yeah. But with brown, it's not too bad. I mean, Mournfang Brown's a really nice forgiving colour, and even if that didn't work, I always use Rhinox Hide, which is a really nice deep red brown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy with them. Nearly done as well. And then it's the Death Dread.
Steve Murley, Cynical Steve, has been doing some more scratch building. Obviously, I don't know what parts he's used for that, and I don't know what it's going to be.
It's part of a Nerf gun.
Is it a Nerf gun again?
Because it's the orange. No, it's the orange and the tubes. Yeah.
I seem to remember from previously mentioned something about this being inspired by a movie called Space Sweepers.
Yes, he mentioned that a couple of weeks back. I did start watching it and couldn't get into it. I didn't just didn't enjoy it. But
watched it all the way through. I loved it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's got some interesting looking ships in it.
Yeah, I really like the ship designs.
Yeah, he's been doing that. He's obviously ripped some holes in it as well. All coming together. More stuff. You can always add more things to it. I think is his motto.
I just love the way it's like
the front he's going to add to it as well.
It's like here's a basic thing. Next picture. Here's the thing with more things.
Yeah,
he's even got Lego on there as well.
Greeblification.
Yeah.
Wow. Greebularity.
Is that enough? No, it's never enough. Let's add some more. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Again, once I want to know it will look lovely.
Am I the only one who wants to know what the green thing is? What the main bulk of the body is?
Lunchbox or something.
Yeah. I don't know what that is, but it's got wonderful details.
I haven't seen him say. He says, Steve, do you work at a Nerf gun factory?
Thrift stores.
The extras.
Thrift stores are fantastic for Nerf guns.
Yes,
really? Eric has Tamir's a relatively new release of the Ford Mustang race car, going a completely different route to the usual. Yeah, I like the pink on this car for some reason.
Yeah, it works. It looks nice.
Yeah. It's very pink. And there we go. That was nice and easy. That's the last one.
Yeah,
to finish.
I didn't have any fresh pics to put up of the work I've gotten so far. I've got a lot done. I just didn't have pictures ready.
Not a problem. We'll find them next week. So yeah, that was that. What else? Chat hasn't really gone crazy while I've been in there, so there's not a lot more to talk about in there. Anything else to talk about or mention, or shall we have an early night?
Other than my orcs, I've actually been doing. I got a Army Painter paint set the other day from Goblin, which has got Asarak, the Lich Mini. And normally these paint sets, because they've done Underdark, Adventurers, and Monsters, and they come with 3 separate minis, which are kind of, appropriate to that kind of style box. And now, normally, because it's by Army Painter and Gale Force 9, normally each one of them is a resin. So it's not too bad. It's nicely detailed. It's just a bit of a bucket to clean. But when I got Asarak, it was a plastic model. It was a plastic and on sprue, which is lovely. And you can just... I should have put this in a group really, but I don't know why I didn't. I just kind of got carried away with painting them, as I'm one to do recently.
Oh yeah, you shared a couple on the private thing, but not in the actual group yet.
And so I just started painting him, but it's really cleverly done. I mean, there are a few gaps, but nothing completely egregious, because it's all done really cleverly. That it's all kind of layered on top of each other, so it's not like, here's an arm, stick it to his side, and stuff like that. It's like with his head, for example, there's a post on his part of his torso, and then you build his head like so 2 parts that way, but the seams are hidden, and then you put his face on, and because his face connects like here, like where the helmet goes, and so you don't really see the gap, and then that goes on the peg. Little things like that. But when you get in Like, so his robes, for example, it's all laid on top of each of other robes, so it's all kind of nicely laid that any gaps are really minimal or will just be hidden when you paint it. Not that you'll fill it in with paint, but it'll just be like, oh, that's a gap. That's a different layer part. There was one I did at the back, which I didn't glue properly, so I kind of filled that in with a bit of Milliput. But no, it's nothing like it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, that's really shonky and really badly made. It's like, no, I'm just an idiot and didn't glue it. Didn't give it a good enough squeeze there. But,
I mean, it's the same as when we're talking about 3D printing. The way they design these things blows my mind. It's just the thought behind it is great. With those orcs that I'm building, the head comes in two parts. There's like a face and there's a throat.
Yeah.
And the throat and neck sort of attaches to the body in such a way that it looks like it belongs, but it looks like nothing. But when you put the face over it, it's obviously got a hole in the mouth, and that fits over that, and it just fills in behind. But the way the shaping of it, it doesn't show any seams. It's brilliant.
Well, when I did the Orc Mega Boss, because he's got his tongue sticking out, so that's actually attached already onto his part of his body. Wait, because you get his neck coming out, and then you just have this bit here. I was like, what the hell is that? He put his head on, and he's like, that's his tongue. I was like, oh, that's really clever. It's like, that's really good. But no, this Asarak was a joy to paint because this is the 4th Asarak mini I've had. 3 were from Gale Force 9.
Mm-hmm.
1 broke as soon as I touched it. The other was just a bad casting. It was just full of holes. And the other one just came broken. I just gave up after that. But when finding this, because I've got a few print files of them, of like fairly accurate models. Then I found this is like, oh, well, we're just going to have to see how this is. And opened it up. I was like, oh, it's plastic. Oh my God, it's plastic. I'm not going to die from sanding it. This is a joy. Hallelujah. And if this is the way like Gale Force 9 and Wizards are going to go, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Because I know like WizKids do the pre-painted minis iron boxes, but they've come out and said, no, we're going to do models on sprue now. And if this is the case, if this was what they're making, bring it, because it was fantastic. I mean, there was a bit of flash, but not to like Revell standards. You know, it's just a little bit, and I can let that slide. But yeah, very nicely done. So if you're a fan of D&D, I'd say definitely pick it up. And it comes with like 8 paints as well, which is, you know, no bad thing. So it's a 17 quid package, and you get a decent model and a bunch of paints.
Can't go wrong, really, can you?
No, it's fine.
The token have something for next week. If his airbrush and compressor arrives on Saturday, he's joining the
nice.
masses. We look forward to seeing your learning curve with that. That should be interesting.
Yeah, they're fun.
I'm being informed that I need to make a cup of tea, so
that is very subtle. Very subtle.
Yep.
Steve is here. He says, I just have a lot of broken Nerf guns from charity shops. So there we go. What's the green thing in the middle of your new sweeper thing? What did it used to be?
Yeah, what is the big box thing? Because it looks like it should be something from like resembles Thunderbirds too.
Yeah.
Now it's too boxy for that.
Yeah, but you know it's that. The thing is, you don't know. I mean, we haven't.
But from Thunderbirds.
To be fair, though, I don't think any of us have done a Thunderbird 2 kit. So, for all we know, it could just be a really old kit, which we haven't put the side bits on.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be that. But no,
I'd laugh if it was now. If it was now, I'd be like, points.
There we go. The green bits on the ship are from Lego dump trucks. It's going to use them as a promo trip, but couldn't find them and used the wheelie bins instead. But they were perfect for this. So a happy little accident that you couldn't find out.
See, I had no idea. I didn't think that was Lego at all.
No, it didn't look like Lego to me. But yeah. Cool. Right, I'm going to call it tonight then. We'll have an early night tonight because I'm tired and everything. So, Dan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We shall see you again, no doubt, probably next week, hopefully.
Yep. See you later.
Bye-bye. And Adam, thank you again for joining me.
Always a pleasure.
On my own.
It's all right.
See you soon.
Later, everyone. Bye-bye.
And me. I've already done the what's happening when. So, keep an eye on the channel. You'll know when things happen, same as normal. But thank you all for watching. It's been fun. I shall try and find the thing that's got the thing to go the ending to click on the button. So thank you all for joining me. Stay safe, and I'll see you later in the week or the weekend for more things. Bye bye for now.